Hello and welcome to the channel that covers everything where health and technology meet. Now you may have noticed in the title of this video that I call this the version 2 of the S22i, and if that doesn't make a lot of sense to you, NordicTrack originally started selling this bike, and let's call it the version 1. And I had that bike, I did a lot of reviews on it, and personally I had a lot of issues and a lot of concerns based on some of the things that I experienced with this bike and also others experienced. Well, NordicTrack went and made some improvements, did some tweaks, and then created a version 2, but they just continued selling it as S22i. There was no model changes, no name changes, no marketing. So depending on which bike you get, they look almost identical, function largely the same, but you may have a different experience. And since I had a lot of negative things to say about the version 1, I figured it was time to get the version 2 and see if they've improved on that and if this is a better bike and maybe a better recommendation for people that really want to get into those scenic rides and things like that that the NordicTrack does offer. So let's jump into the problems I had with the first bike and talk about if they've been resolved with this one. And to begin, the first bike when I received it was broken, had all sorts of issues and took forever to get fixed. And that's something a lot of people seem to experience. And I'm happy to report that this one is working great. I've had no issues, everything's been good, so that's a good start. Second is the noise from the motors on this bike. I get asked a lot about how quiet a bike is. Could I work out in the room next to the baby sleeping, things like that. In the first bike, my answer was kind of no. The incline-decline motor was extremely loud, and if you need silence, you're not gonna get that. And while it's still a motor and it still makes noises, on this one it is dramatically improved. It's just a quiet noise, it's there, you hear it, but hardly a big deal, and I don't think it's gonna be a concern for most people, so I'll consider that a major improvement. Third is gonna be the speakers on the bike, and when I turned it on for the first time, it was cranked all the way, and it was pretty distorted, didn't sound pretty great, but once I turned it down, it sounded fine. It still had pretty good volume. They're tablet speakers, you're only gonna get so much out of them, but they're sufficient. That's what I'll say about that. Fourth is gonna be the user interface and its responsiveness. Now, on my original bike, something I complained about is how delayed everything was. So when you want to go from one screen to another, or it loads something, there's always that spinning wheel and a delay there. And I kind of compare it to a computer that's 5 years too old and you just know everything's gonna take a long time every time you need to go to something new or switch to something. And I'll say it's better on this bike, but it's not great. Now I've had some people say, well, it's probably your internet. I have fiber internet, I'm an IT guy, I have really good internet, and this is the room that I test everything else in and it works fine, so I don't think it's that. And I still notice there's delay. There's still spinning wheels. It takes away from the experience a little bit, but it's not a huge deal. It's just kind of an annoyance because once you're in a ride, it doesn't matter. It's not gonna do that anymore. It's just when you're before a ride and switching screens, trying to find the ride or what you wanna do, you notice those delays and just is kind of annoying. Not a big deal. I think most people can look past it, but as an IT guy, it's something I wanted to point out. Fifth, when I created my review video for the first version of this bike, I didn't ask for a like. So if you could double down on that and help this video get a like by clicking the like button, I do appreciate it. Our sixth item is the network options on this bike. And on the first one, it only had 2.4 wireless, nothing else. And this can be a problem for some people when you want to switch something that's less congested. And on this one, it has 2.4 and 5, so it's nice to have both of those options. I don't see anywhere to hook up a network cable. I do wish they had that just for the people that can do that and just bypass all the Wi-Fi problems, but at least they have added that. And last on the problem sides is just overall issues during a ride. Buffering, crashing, metrics not reporting, just a lot of different issues in the in-ride experience. And so far I can say that this seems to be much improved. I'm not having those issues, and that might have just been because of the problems I had with the bike and it had to eventually be repaired, because after that I do think it got better, but it just does seem overall improved on this model. So the end-to-end experience does seem improved and it just seems to be working overall better. So the people that experienced a lot of problems, hopefully, we're not seeing near as many of those with this bike as they have addressed those. And before we do that, I want to talk about a supporter of this channel, the Amino Co and their Peform lineup. Now, when you get back to working out or when you are working out hard, you tax your muscles a lot, and sometimes the next day you don't feel ready to tackle that same exercise at the level you want, or sometimes you just feel sore and it's almost like you're being punished for doing the right thing, and you end up going down the rabbit hole of trying to find supplements that may fix that problem. And there's a lot of things out there, and I've tried a lot of them. Well, the reason I like this product is it kind of has all those things that you need in one package to help you with recovery and all the things your muscles go through. And the end result for me has been that this product really helps me recover quickly. So when I go to future exercises, I feel ready to go at them, and I can even do more. I seem to have more endurance, more ability to push through workouts and just get more out of them while not feeling sore all the time. And I think my favorite thing is that I'm not stacking a bunch of things together to try to get the results I need. I just grab this, mix it with some water, shake it up, drink it, and I'm good to go and I get the results that I need. So all in one package, works great, 100% science backed, a really good product. So if you ever thought about trying to supplement your workout to be able to feel better and get more out of your workouts, this might be worth a look. I have a link to my YouTube review in the description down below. I also have a link to their product, but I appreciate your time. So moving on to a quick review in some of the top categories I'd like to discuss to help you make a decision. And let's just start with assembly. This bike is one of the hardest bikes to assemble out of all I've done. And not that it can't be done, but it's just very heavy and it's awkward, so it's hard to do by yourself. So with this bike, I ordered it from NordicTrack, which included their white glove delivery, which means they take it to the room for you, they assemble it for you. Now, if there's something about NordicTrack that I can't stand, it's their return policy and their customer support. But with that being said, it was really nice to have someone else assemble this. I can do it, but it is tricky, it is heavy, and I was very happy to see it get done and I didn't have to worry about it. So that was a pro from ordering from NordicTrack. But regardless of what direction you want to go, I have links in the description down below, so check those out if you want to look into this bike. Next is the bike itself, and personally, I've never been the biggest fan. It's plasticky, it's bulky, it's heavy, it's hard to move. It's just not my favorite of the bikes, but I'm also probably being too harsh because it gets the job done and a lot of people thoroughly enjoy the experience that you get on this. So that's just me being very nitpicky, but it gets the job done. Next up is one of the most important categories, and that's the ride quality. And we'll start with the resistance. And I think this bike competes with all of the rest. It has great range, meaning you can go from easy to medium to challenging, and you have a lot of control there. But also, they have a very good top-end resistance setup. If you're that person that wants to be completely challenged, you have to really work for every pedal stroke. Well, some bikes, they just don't have that. It's hard, but it's not really push you to your limits. And this bike's top-end resistance is very good, so they excel there. Also, the incline decline. Nobody else offers that, and if that's something that you gravitate towards, just having that more realistic ride and maybe enjoying the experience more, that adds to the platform. So again, that just makes the overall ride more enjoyable. And that really just keeps this bike in the conversation when you compare it to some of the other top-end options because it does excel in those areas. Next up is the content. And when you think of these bikes, you think of the monitor that's up there and what you get through that, and is that gonna keep you coming back to the bike and enjoying the experience? And they have a lot of variety here, and that's a very good thing. Now, they have studio rides. I'm not gonna say it's a Peloton experience. I would pick Peloton for studio rides over this bike every day, but they still have it. It's part of the platform. But from there, they have a lot of other options. They have map your own ride options. They have live rides. They have the studio rides. They have a swivel monitor for off the bike content, which really helps you get more out of this bike. You don't just get a ride out of it. You can turn that monitor and do lifting, stretching, yoga, whatever you want next to the bike and get a lot more out of it. And most importantly, they have those instructor-led scenic rides, which are what make this platform special to me and most people that really get looking into this. That's what I gravitate towards. That's what I really enjoy. And a lot of people that comment on my videos, that's just what they thoroughly enjoy, and that's why they picked this bike. A lot of variety. For the most part, I'm gonna give the content a thumbs up. Other items worth mentioning is that it does have the ability to hook up a heart rate monitor. You can hook up an external Bluetooth speaker. So these are just things that, again, can enhance the experience or give you more data inside the ride. And a lot of people enjoy that just as far as pushing themselves and maximizing their output, understanding where they're at. It also does have leaderboard functionality, so you can see where you're at and ride against other people. I would not compare it to a Peloton. I don't think it's quite at that level, but it's still there in another motivational tool. And last, and this may seem like a small detail, is that it has a fan right in front of you. And a lot of people, as soon as they get a bike like this, the first thing they're doing is going and finding a big old fan they can put on the floor and point at them, because you get so hot working out on these bikes. You want to be comfortable, so having a fan directly in front of you, it's a nice feature. So to summarize this video up, while I may have some concerns about the company and this bike is not perfect, when you look at the version 2, they have largely improved on a lot of things from the version 1. And that's what stopped me from giving it a great review. I knew there were a lot of good things, and a lot of things that a lot of people would really enjoy and make this the perfect bike for them, but I couldn't recommend it. And I will say that at this point, they've made enough improvements that if you look at the features that talk on this bike, you're looking at incline, decline, the scenic rides. And another feature I didn't mention, automation. You can give them the control, let them change the incline, decline, the resistance, and you just ride. You just enjoy the experience. So if it's a features like that you're like, oh, I really enjoy those, I think that you can pick this bike. You can feel pretty comfortable knowing that you're getting the one that matches you and you're gonna get good use out of it. And I'll wrap this up with one last point, and that's that I don't recommend picking a bike based on the best of this or the best of that, or trying to pick the safe option. That's what gets you in trouble, and you end up picking the thing that you don't gravitate towards. Pick the bike that talks to you, that has the features you enjoy. And in the past, this bike was one of the ones that I kind of went, I know it has features that might talk to you, but I don't know if I can tell you to get it or not. It's kind of in that gray zone. Well, now I think I can. If this has the features that talk to you, this probably is a good choice. Get the bike that is right for you. I hope that does help you out. If you don't mind, hit that like button, subscribe to stay on top of everything where health and technology meet. And until next time, here's to a healthier you, and have a good one.